Hello there, and welcome to this real Python video course on testing MCP servers with a Python MCP client. My name is Rodrigo, and I'll be the one taking you on this journey. What are the main goals for this course? What are you going to do? You're going to understand what's an MCP client, and you're going to write a functional MCP client. So this will be a very practical course. You'll get your hands dirty and write a reasonable amount of code. As you do so, you're going to write an MCP client that connects to an MCP server to do three things. You're going to get prompts from the server, you're going to fetch resources from the server, and you're going to call tools from the server. Now, if this sounds like something that's interesting to you, and if you're interested in understanding better how MCP servers work and how MCP clients work naturally, then you're in the right course. Join me for the next lesson, where you'll understand what an MCP client is and how that fits into the context of MCP servers and also the typical LLM-based agent. This will be quite a long journey, an interesting one, but a long one. So let's make sure you understand what everything is and what everything does. Remember that an MCP server provides prompts, resources, and tools to be used. Now, the server only exposes them. An MCP client is anything that can connect to an MCP server to request prompts, resources, and tools. In this course, you'll write one MCP client. You're going to write one MCP client that will be able to connect to any MCP server and to interact with it deterministically. You specify which subcommand to run, which might just connect to the server, it might list the members from the server, or it might get a specific prompt, fetch a specific resource, or call a specific tool with specific arguments. And this is deterministic, and you use your CLI interface to do this. In general, agents and similar tools embed an MCP client so that they can connect to MCP servers, but it's the output of the LLM that determines whether or not it should use something from the server. So there is a clear distinction between the way you are using your MCP client through the CLI and the way LLMs use their MCP clients. This is a major distinction. If you were to implement your own agent, for example, you would also need to write an MCP client, but you would use it in a slightly different way because it would be the LLM driving when and how to connect to the server. Hopefully this makes sense. So when you're ready, move on to the next lesson where you'll learn about the prerequisites for this course. For you to make the most out of this course and for you to be able to write the code and tag along, you need some previous knowledge and in particular some working experience with, let's call it intermediate Python. You should be able to write Python classes, functions, and have a little bit of experience with async IO. And if you don't, then the link on the screen will take you to a tutorial by Real Python that covers async IO. You should have some familiarity with project management tools, and if you have experience or knowledge in UV, better yet, because that's the tool you're going to use to set up a couple of projects in this course. Again, the link on the screen will take you to a tutorial that covers all you need to know about UV for this course. And it's also helpful if you've built a couple of CLIs, even if simple ones, before. In particular with Click, because Click is the library you're going to use to develop a CLI for your MCP client. Again, if you have a basic understanding of how CLIs work and how to build them, even if not with Click, that's fine, but some working experience would be very helpful. And finally, you're going to write an MCP client that connects to an MCP server. It's assumed that you already have a basic understanding of what MCP servers are for and what they do. So the understanding of the MCP client will build on top of, let's call it a basic understanding of what an MCP server is. If you've never used an MCP server, if you've never built an MCP server, if you've never heard of this, then take a look at the tutorial linked on the screen, because it's a great primer on MCP servers and it will bring you right up to speed for this course. Once you feel comfortable with the prerequisites, again, you don't need to be a master of all these topics, you just need to have a working knowledge of them. Feel free to move to the next lesson where you'll set up the projects required for this course. You're now ready to set up everything so you can start writing your MCP client. But an MCP client always connects to a server, so you need to have an MCP server to be able to check that everything is working as it's supposed to be. The first step is downloading the accompanying MCP server, which is a slight modification of the MCP server you'll develop in the real Python tutorial linked before. You're going to download the code, and then, since this MCP server is managed as a UV project, you're going to install it as a tool so that you get access to a command that you can use to run your server. And then you're going to initialize the project for the MCP client. Go ahead and open your terminal in a folder where you're going to be working, and make sure you download the accompanying MCP server to this folder. So you can see the MCP data tool directory, you're going to cd into it, and if you take a look at the contents of the directory, you will find that it's populated already with some code, with some data, and with a couple of files that are relevant to projects that are managed by tools such as UV. If you run the commands uv run mcp data, if this is the first time you run such a command, you should see some outputs from UV telling you the Python version that it's being used and that the virtual environment is being set up, and then it will look like it's hanging. So you have no explicit error messages, but it feels like nothing is happening. But the truth is, if you get to this stage, your MCP server is running just fine, which is what you want. Now you're going to need to press Ctrl+C a couple of times to interrupt it, and then you're going to want to install this as a tool, because right now the only way to run this server is through the command uv run mcp-data. What you want is to be able to write the command mcp-data from anywhere and run this server. To do that, you're going to write uv tool install. This is the subcommand that UV uses to install tools. Then you're going to use the dot to say that you want to install this project you're on, and you're going to add -e, which makes this installation editable, which has a couple of benefits and simplifies your life when dealing with the resources embedded in this project. It also means that if you update the code in the server, the tool that is installed will automatically pick up those changes. You're going to press enter, you give it a second, and you should see a success message telling you that the executable was installed. To check that this worked, you can move to a completely different working directory and try running the command mcp data. If you press enter, you will see that it looks like your terminal is hanging, but that's because the server is running. Again, press Ctrl+C a couple of times to interrupt it entirely. Once the MCP server is installed, cd back up into your workspace, and now you're going to initialize the project for the client. And for that, you run the command uv init to initialize the project, --app --package. These are a couple of settings that are useful and that will allow UV to create your project with some boilerplates already in place, and then you give it a name, for example, MCP-client. You press enter, and you will instantaneously see a success message. Now, if you ls to take a look at the contents of your current directory, you will see there is a new folder, MCP Client. You can cd into it, and if you list its contents, you will once again find some files and folders created for you. At this stage, you're now ready to start developing your MCP client, which is what you'll do in the next lesson. Now that everything is set up, you're ready to start writing your MCP client that's going to connect to MCP servers. Now remember that an MCP server exposes prompts, resources, and tools for LLMs and agents in general to use them. But agents and these other tools can only connect to the server if they implement an MCP client. So it's the client that establishes the connection to then request whatever is needed from the server. And this is what you will develop, a client that can connect to arbitrary servers. To start off, you're going to create a basic client scaffolding. And by basic, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy to understand. It just means it doesn't have a lot of functionality. You're going to hard code the commands to a functioning MCP server because you want the client to be able to test different servers. But in the beginning, you're going to use the MCP server from the previous lesson, which you know works, to check that your client is working. And then you're going to test that the actual connection can be made. A couple of notes are in order though. The code isn't supposed to be immediately obvious, so you're going to encounter async IO, which hopefully you already have a little bit of experience with, but you're going to be using MCP, which is a library, and so you're going to be using classes, methods, functions that are part of the library and that are likely to be new to you. Together with that note, make sure you write the code yourself. Writing the code forces you to process the code you're reading. It forces you to digest what you're looking at, and it's going to greatly improve your learning experience. Finally, make sure you have the MCP documentation by your side because it's going to be helpful to take a look at it when you're using a new class or method. Once you're ready to start coding, move on to the next lesson. Open your terminal in the MCP Client directory and start by running the command uv add MCP to add MCP, the dependency, to your project. Once that's done, open your preferred code editor and make sure you're in the file source MCP Client under init, and it may have a couple of lines of code that were added automatically by UV. You can delete those. What you want to do, the goal for this lesson, is to write a class MCP Client that is going to be an MCP client that connects to arbitrary MCP servers. The idea is that you tell the client what server to connect to by specifying the shell command that starts the server. And then the usage in code will look like this. You're going to use this client as an asynchronous context manager. So you write it as async with MCP client and then server commands as client, colon, and then you do whatever you want to do with the client. So this is what the usage will look like. What does this mean? First of all, if the server command is being passed in when you create the instance, that means you need to have a dunder init that accepts this server command, which is a string. It returns none, this method, and then you just save the server command as an attribute for later. This is the start. If you want to be able to use your MCP client as an asynchronous context manager, it means you need to implement the appropriate dunder methods. For regular context managers, those would be dunder enter and dunder exit. But since your MCP client is going to be an asynchronous context manager, your dunder methods are the coroutines. So async def a enter for asynchronous enter and async def a exit for asynchronous exit. In your dunder a enter, you want to create a client session. This is where you establish the connection to the server. And your client session will come from awaiting a method called connects to server that you have not implemented yet. So this is to be implemented. And when you're done, you want to return self so that you can use the context manager like in the usage example. You want to be able to write as client at the end of the statement. And for the dunder method a exits, the dunder method accepts a couple of arguments related to the errors that may have occurred inside the context manager and that are forcing it to close. But you're not going to deal with those. For now, you're just going to do nothing. Now, your dunder method a enter is depending on a coroutine called connects to server that you haven't implemented yet. You're going to do it in the next lesson because this is going to be a meaty coroutine. Assuming the coroutine is in place, in this module you want to have a coroutine main that you can use to test the MCP client. So you just copy the usage example from before, but this time you provide a real command that runs a real server, in this case MCP data, from the previous lesson. And once the connection is established, you just print something to let the user know that the connection succeeded. Then, for the sake of convenience, you need a synchronous main that uses async.io to run your asynchronous main. And finally, a guard that checks if this module was ran directly or not, and if it was, you run your synchronous main. Now, in order for async.io to be able to run your coroutine, you need to import async.io at the top of your file. There's something missing. Your dunder method aEnter returns self with a capital S from the module typing. So from typing, import self, because you are returning self. This is the basic structure of your MCP client. In the next lesson, you're going to implement connect to server, and you'll also see how that informs the implementation of aExit, which is currently incomplete.